Hey everybody, I wanted to share a little bit about my Aunt Therese. She passed away April 21st. She had been suffering with Alzheimer's disease for many years, probably the last, I would say, maybe 10 years. And she was in a facility. And then recently, over the last few years, she also had Parkinson's disease. So she was very bedridden, and it was very sad. So I'm glad that she's no longer suffering, and that um my dad and his other sister and his brothers don't have to see her suffering like that. And so she was just an amazing, wonderful woman, and I wanted to tell a story about her that I think reflects a lot on the kind of person she was. And it also involves my mother, my biological mother. But first, she was 63 years old. She was a teacher. She was a devoted mother. You know, my cousin Brian, he has cerebral palsy, and he has physical and mental delays because of it. So he mentally, he's, I would say, probably cognitively, the mentality of like a toddler of 2 3 years old. He's and he can't walk without crutches or a wheelchair. So he but he's such a happy person, and you see him, and he's always got a smile, and he always wants to hug you and talk to you. And so he's a great kid, and that is a testament to how she took care of him. So that being said, one day, growing up, she lived a few blocks from us in our neighborhood. So one day I was with my biological mother outside of our building, and she walked by, and I can't remember if she had my cousin with her or not. I believe she had him with her. And he used to, when he would speak, it was like slurred, and he couldn't speak like proper words. So she obviously, and the people close to him, knew what he was saying. So he would say mama, but he didn't say it mama. But so if you didn't know him, you wouldn't understand it. But I knew what it meant. Obviously, she knew what it meant, and everyone in our family knew, the words that he was saying, what they meant. So he was, yes, I remember now. He was there, and he was getting, I think, frustrated. He wanted to leave or whatever. He was asking her to leave, and he kept saying, Mama, Mama. And I was maybe 10 or 11 years old, and I started um, like hugging my mother and repeating it, but using his word and saying it the way he said it. And my aunt said, "That's not nice. You're making fun of your cousin, and he doesn't understand, and that's not nice." And I was like so ashamed, and I felt such shame, and I said, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have done that." And she was actually very kind about it, because, she knew I was a child, and I just wasn't trying to be hurtful. I just wasn't thinking. So she said, "It's okay, but don't make fun of people. That's not nice to make fun of people, especially he doesn't understand you're mocking him." So, so later on, after they left, my mother yelled at me, and she said, "You idiot. Why would you do that?" And I mean, she didn't like scream and yell at me, but she called me an idiot, and she said, "Why would I do that?" And so I think that talks about how my mother was as a person. She was more concerned about how, I guess, I would make her look bad by saying that, and she called me an idiot. She put me down. And my aunt, as a person, she didn't get angry at me because I was a child, and she knew that I didn't understand, and she was a kind person. So that's the kind of person I want to be, like my aunt. She was so smart. She was a high school teacher. She until it wasn't until she was like in her 40s she went back to college and got a higher degree. So she went and got her master's degree, I think I was, and she was on their Lehman College basketball team. And there was an article they had there at the funeral home. I went to the wake, but I didn't go to the mass. The mass was today. I went to the wake yesterday, and at there's an article there, and it was a profile of her they did in our local newspaper, and she said she was a point guard, I think it was, but she played basketball and she was on the Lehman basketball team, and she was about to make a shot, and when this reporter was there to do the profile on her, and someone in the crowd said, "Yeah, way to go, Grandma! Grandma's gonna take a shot." And apparently, one of her fellow teammates, who obviously she was the oldest one on the team, found the guy and looked at him, located him in the stands, and pointed at him and said, like, defended her. And she said, like, she's got more guts than you and more talent than you. So she never let anything she never let anyone put her down. She always took care of Brian. She made sure to this day, he lives in a a home with other developmentally challenged adults, and he's still a happy guy. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I'm planning on going to see him soon because he's just such a wonderful spirit, and he's always so happy, and he always wants to talk to you, he wants to hug you, he loves his family, and I think that definitely is a testament to how devoted she was to him. She made sure they used to always go to the Yankees games. They would go to mass every Sunday. He went to specialized school to be out with other children, and so yeah, she was just an amazing person, and I feel so blessed to have had her in my life, and she's such an inspirational woman. And hearing how she was older when she went back to college, and how she was a teacher and she was so kind, it made me realize that I want to do something with children. I want to be a teacher, perhaps, or a daycare worker or something. And I still haven't figured out 100% yet if I want to have a child of my own, but I definitely want to help children in some way. So I'm going to really devote time and energy to learning ASL, and I think that I could help deaf children to be a teacher for deaf children. So that's because of the inspirational person she was. She was a wonderful woman, and I feel so blessed to have known her and had her in my life. And I'm gonna miss her, but I know that she's in a better place and she's not suffering anymore. And I believe that I will see her again. And I want to share one more quick thing. The priest, I don't know if you've ever been to a Catholic or Christian wake service. The priest comes and recites prayers, a gospel reading, and says a little bit. So I was so very moved by what the priest said yesterday at her wake. He said something along the lines of, as Christians, the gospel speaks to us and God speaks to us through the gospel, but God can speak to anyone of any denomination. And I'd never heard a Catholic priest say something like that. I've never heard anyone from any denomination say something like that. So it was so moving to me. And he said about, you never know the impact you're going to have on people. Therese had all these people here to see her, to show up for her, loved her so much. She made such an impact. And you never know the impact you're having on someone. So that really motivated me to make this video and to keep making all my videos. So be kind to yourself and be kind to others, and love the ones you have while you have them, because you never know when they're going to be gone. So take care. Be kind, everybody.